Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dream Season Total Access. This is our second edition here. I am your host, Nick Rice, and we are entering closer to the beginning of the regular season, fellas. I mean, this has been one heck of a ride through the off-season, and we had our fair share of surprises and upsets here in this edition of the Dream Season Total Access. Now, we start our contest in our afternoon here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as the Steelers and the Eagles faced off here at Heinz Field. The Steelers took advantage of their second possession of the first quarter here as Franco Harris takes his third carry of the day for a 15-yard gainer down to the Philly 36-yard line. Harris ran that one practically untouched into the secondary, and he was not done there. Several plays later, he would take the third down sweep play past the line of scrimmage and into the end zone as the Steelers score first. It's 7-0, partner. On the other side of the 2-minute warning, things would start to change. Randall Cunningham would try to thread the needle to Harold Carmichael, but the pass would be intercepted by cornerback Jack Taylor, ending the Eagles' drive. Then on the very next play, Bradshaw dials up the deep ball intended for Lynn Swann, but now it's Nnamdi Asomugha who gets in front of this one, and it's the Steelers' offense who now has to trot off the field. The Eagles get the ball at their own 31-yard line, and on their first play back on offense, Cunningham fires it right in the gut of LaMarr Woodley, and is yet another interception. The quarterback saves the walk-in score, but that ends an ugly streak of interceptions in the game. Not very often will you see 3 picks thrown in a row, that is for sure. Steelers decide to run the ball off the good field position, and on 3rd down and 8, Willie Parker scampers for 15 yards for the second Steelers touchdown on the night, and they increase their lead to 14. And if the Eagles had any hopes of a comeback, they were evaporated here as this touchdown by the bus makes it 21-3. Pittsburgh would hold off for the victory by that same score thanks to tremendous help from their defense. Philadelphia was held to 0 conversions on 6 third-down attempts. Randall Cunningham was harassed all afternoon as well. He posted a 5.7 quarterback rating in this one with 2 interceptions on only 11 pass attempts. Steelers roll past another opponent. Today's victim is now 0-2 in the preseason with more questions than answers. Now we turn from one dominating performance to another as the Vikings travel to the loudest stadium in the NFL, Quest Field. The Seahawks would have something to cheer about on this play as Anthony Carter is the victim of a nasty hit over the middle, which forces the fumble and is scooped up by the defense. Seahawks now have great field position here and would take advantage. The pass is tipped right up in the air and into the hands of Bobby Ingram, who takes it to the 7. 2 plays later on 3rd and goal, Alexander takes the pitch and is untouched into the end zone. Seahawks score first, and it's 7-0 at halftime due to Minnesota's inability to create any kind of a spark offensively. Their offensive woes would continue into the 3rd quarter as Warren Moon overthrows a wide-open Jake Reed who would have easily scored. Then on the very next play, Moon feels the pressure and throws a dying duck right in the waiting arms of linebacker Malcolm Smith, and he takes it into Vikings territory to the 38-yard line before being dragged down. The move pass was intended for Sidney Rice, but wasn't even close. The pressure was minimal, but the pass was pedestrian at best. He may want to step up his game if he intends on keeping his role as the backup with the Vikings. On the next Seattle series, Jim Zorn shows Warren Moon how to throw a football as he connects with Shaun Alexander for the long touchdown, and the Seahawks add to their lead. Now with time winding down in the 3rd, Warren Moon does lead a comeback drive and scores on a Robert Smith touchdown, but the Vikings would be unable to score the remainder of the night. But the biggest scare of the game came with the following series as Zorn would connect with Alexander, but he would have his legs cut up from under him and he does not get up. This is bad news for Seahawks fans. The report from his trainers later that night is that Alexander has suffered a partial groin tear and will miss the next 2 games. Luckily, he isn't expected to miss any regular season action, but even that is still up in the air. Seahawks do increase their preseason tally to 2-0 with their win against Minnesota. But as for the Vikings, the stat sheet does not lie. Minnesota was a pedestrian 1 for 6 on 3rd down, turned the ball over on 3 separate occasions, and quarterbacks Tarkenton and Moon combined for a sub-50% completion percentage with 2 interceptions. Obviously, Shaun Alexander's injury was a big blow to the Seahawks team, but that was far from the extent of the injuries in Week 2 of the exhibition season. as we take a look at specifically the list of AFC players that will miss key time due to injury, O.J. Simpson is obviously tops on this list. The face of the Buffalo franchise has suffered a torn pectoral muscle and will miss the remainder of the regular season. This is a huge blow to the Bills organization as they will have to make do without him. The Seahawks' Kurt Warner is another primetime player missing significant time in the backfield. His injury will sideline him for the next 10 weeks.
What's trending now on the Facebook site? Make sure to tune down below into the description to see what this link is. The number 3 most trending story in the DSFL 2 Facebook site is the Weebly page, where you get updated statistics of all 32 teams. The number 2 most trending story, who is better? Favre, Rodgers, and Starr. All 3 can make it big in Green Bay, but who is the best? Vote on Facebook and see who is the winner. Again, link down below. And the number 1 most trending story on the DSFL 2 Facebook page, how long should your top star on your NFL team play? It's a debate that breaks risk and reward.
The Dream Season Football League is bound to be one of the most thrilling events in football, that is for sure, as we see some of the greatest players of all time compete in this league, as we try and see what's the greatest franchise of all time. We know that the Oakland Raiders had the greatest team of one year of all time, thanks to the Dream Bowl 1, but Dream Bowl 2 is up in the air, fellas, and we have 32 teams fighting to see who is the greatest franchise of all time. We will take a quick break as you see this trailer to see what exactly it takes to be the greatest of all time.
Can you feel that? That thing that's beating in your doggone chest right now. Can you feel that? Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man?
The DSFL 2 should be one heck of a series, that is for sure. I don't know about you, but that trailer, you know, it brings some chills as we are just waiting to see what is to come. Let's look at some other scores throughout Week 2 of the exhibition season, shall we? The Falcons blew out the Jaguars in Jacksonville due to a large part to Matty Ice and his 229 yards passing to go along with 2 TDs. Brunell's status as starting quarterback may be up in question with his 17.7 quarterback rating in this one with 2 interceptions. The Broncos were on the plus side of a 31-13 victory as Floyd Little of Denver rushes for 140 yards and only 12 carries at 11.6 average. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Carolina Panthers by 2 touchdowns. Now both teams are 1-1 in the preseason. The Bengals are the beneficiaries of the nail-biting 24-20 victory over the New York Jets. Now in Baltimore, the Ravens roll over another opponent. Their most recent victim being the Kansas City Chiefs, falling short to the impressive Ravens 42-21. The Patriots improved to 2-0 in the exhibition season as well with their 18-point victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Moving along now, we had the Saints try all they could but fall short by 7 to the Texans Oilers mix of teams. The San Diego Chargers defeat the Cowboys 27-24 with the last-second touchdown pass from Rivers to Gates. How often have we heard that combo score touchdowns? We also had Steve Van Buren help the Rams outlast the Titans in a 21-9 victory in Tennessee. Another score to note which isn't on this list was the Colts on the plus side of a 34-18 contest in Indianapolis. Redskins dropped to 0-2 in exhibition play with that loss. Now with 2 weeks already done in just the exhibition season, we already know the impact of what a team can be without their key player on their football team. Injuries are one of the biggest key problems for all these teams. And with an average about 2 players per team having to be sidelined for any amount of time at all is obviously a big blow to the football team. As commissioner of the DSFL, I will allow you from this point forward in the exhibition season to bring any starter out of the starting lineup for their exhibition matchup. Obviously, once the regular season begins, we don't want starters being on the backup squad. So right now, as commissioner of the DSFL, I'm going to allow you to be able to take your starter out of the starting lineup and put him into a 3rd or even a 4th string role so that you don't have to see your starter go down with an injury, because we already saw in Buffalo, O.J. Simpson, how big an impact he can have being the face of the Bills, going down on IR. He'll have to miss the rest of the season. What a big blow to Buffalo. Obviously, the best of wishes up here in the studio. But you don't want to see that happen to your football team. So I'll allow you to be able to change that by just putting your starter into at least a backup role at best, if that's your intent. And obviously, I will not allow you to have him with a series or a play or whatever. He's in or he's out. It's as simple as that. In our final featured matchup, the Raiders traveled to the Stick to take on the 49ers. Both teams are seen as favorites to obtain the title of the greatest franchise of all time, but early on in this exhibition matchup, it was the Niners driving down the field as Montana to Rice picks up a quick 17-year. But the top story of the afternoon came with 2:52 in the first, as Ted Hendricks would rack up Craig in the backfield but will be unable to get up. The report is that he has suffered a broken collarbone and will be sidelined for the next 10 weeks. Obviously something you don't want to see if you are a Raiders fan. The 49ers would not look back, however, as Montana connects with Terrell Owens as he scampers inside the 10 down to the 8. This would be the only catch for Owens in the game. Niners settle for a field goal, however, and next Raiders drive, Stabler would fire long for Fred Biletnikoff, but would overshoot on the deep attempt, and this is yet another 3-and-out for the Raiders. When Oakland takes their next drive into San Francisco territory, they would call a run, and Michael Bush fumbles the football, which would be recovered by Dave Wilcox, ending this Raiders drive. But Bush just gets depleted by the Niners' great Patrick Willis, which caused the fumble. And now as we transition to the third quarter, Young checks into the game. He would connect with Michael Crabtree, who breaks the tackle and never looks back. He uses his get away from the cop speed and sprints 64 yards for a 49ers touchdown to increase the San Fran lead to 10-zip in the third quarter. Darryl LaMonica checks in at quarterback and will connect with wide receiver Morris Bradshaw, who sprints upfield to pick up 15 yards to enter San Francisco territory, which kickstarts this Raiders drive. Now on first and goal from the 2-yard line, LaMonica hands off to Bo Jackson, who fights his way into the end zone to give the Raiders their first points of the day. But Young would not be outdone in this one as he throws a rainbow down the right sideline to Clark, who picks up 33 big ones on this play. This 49ers offense looks awfully impressive, at least in this one, as both quarterbacks prove capable of handling the best of all time. Frank Gore runs for 9 yards, which puts the nail in the coffin for the Raiders. 49ers go on to win this one by the final 19-7. Steve Young achieves a perfect passer rating by completing one accurate pass after another. And Frank Gore also rushed for 6.2 yards a carry, and Jerry Rice was, well, reliable Jerry Rice. So that just about wraps up things, sports fans. For Nick Rice, I am your host, and everyone else here in the studio, I thank you so much for watching as we inch closer to what should be one heck of a DSFL 2 regular season and the playoffs to see who is the greatest franchise of all time. So